Now, the reason why I didn't have any records, obviously, even though I was testing previously, was simply because I've moved back to the, after testing our PayPal, I've moved back to my own computer and I'm testing this on a local machine rather than on a remote server. But if you're testing this still on a remote server, you may have a record, and I've copied the record which I've created during the testing, but I've just realized that obviously the pound symbol, the currency symbol, rather than being with the total, is now with the date column. So if we go back to our editor and make sure that obviously the currency is in the right place. So if we save the file, now refresh, the order is here. As you can see, the PayPal status is completed, which is what came from IPN. Status of our order is pending because we still didn't process the order. Basically, we have our remove and our view links. If we click on them, we obviously see products because we've basically copied these files over. So that's all fine. If we search for order number, let's say 1, it's cool. If we search for 2, which doesn't exist, we obviously have, there are no results matching your searching criteria, which everything seems to be working fine. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at our edit. In other words, view, obviously, a link and page where we can basically preview our order. So if we go back to our editor, close orders, close list, open our browser, we can close classes folder as well, and click on the edit page inside of the orders folder. Now we can close the browser. We keep the param ID, and we check if it isn't empty. But the majority of the things will really go. So what we could do actually is to remove the entire thing after isn't empty ID. Actually, no, let's leave it. Let's just rename all these things. So we're gonna have object order equals new order. Then we have obviously order equals object order get order. And we pass the ID parameter, then we check if order isn't empty, obviously. After this, we will have several different things. We can remove this one, categories here. We keep form and validation instances. Then we create object user equals new user. We can actually put all these instances in one place. Or maybe not. Let's separate them because some of them, they will get us some details as well populated from the database. So user, for instance, will be object user get user, and then we pass order client index, basically, which is ID of the user who created the specific order. Okay, now that we have a user, we also need a country. So object country equals new country. Then we need to create another instance of, if we scroll up a little bit, object catalog equals new catalog. Then we will, sorry, actually, we object catalog we already have, no, we haven't got because we've replaced this with the order. That's fine. Then we have, right under this, we're going to create items equals object order get order items, and we're going to pass the ID of this specific order. It doesn't have to be with the catalog, obviously. So we have all items now. Then we will get status equals object order get statuses, and we would just leave it like that. Okay, then we have is post. Obviously this time we won't be checking if it's post name, we will be checking for status, as this will be the only field which we will be updating here. I think we are done with all these instances here. Actually, it's not going to be only status, it will also be in nodes, because we can put nodes with each order. So we expect it will be passing status field and nodes, but required will only be status. We don't have to provide any notes, it's just for the administrators, you know, just to make sure that if he needs to put any notes against the order, they can always obviously do it. Then we will have all vars. So we're going to do something like this: vars variable object form get post array, and we're going to pass object valid underscore expected. Obviously I've misspelled it again, so it's best if I just copy this. Okay, so that's all fine. Now after is valid statement, let's remove upload, obviously, because we won't be uploading anything. And there won't be object catalog, there will be object order. So I just copy this to make sure that I don't misspell this one. And it will be update order. And we will be passing ID to this one as first parameter and vars as the second one. That's all fine. And then if obviously order has been updated successfully, we copy this helper redirect, it will be going to edit it, and that's all done in the top part of this file. So let's move to the next video, have a look at the form itself.